Welcome back to the set of Punch TV. This is, I think, our third episode of the season, and we've been out around town doing crazy stuff, and finally we're back home. We have a bit of a new look, so shout out to Ryan Howe, who did our beautiful caricatures here. So he is the man, and we all look really great. So thank you, Ryan, for doing such a good job on that. And yeah, we have some really cool stuff going on today. We've got a whole bunch of guests. We've got John from the Film Fest. We've got Andrew, who does some voice work. We're going to be talking to Dina in a bit. But I wanted to take a little time to do a review because Hank always does the reviews, and not very often do I give a shout out to something awesome. And right now, my favorite thing is monsters. This book is stupendously great. It's not very often that I come across something that just wows me so much. It's a big book. It's thick. There are a lot of drawings in it. It's kind of pricey, but it is seriously worth every penny. I am going to read this book so many times. I am going to loan this book so many times. And I don't want to even say that much about it because I want people to really discover it on their own. But what I will say about it is this. Emile Ferris, it took her like 5 years to write this thing. It's all done in like ballpoint pen. And every shot, every page is just full of stuff. And it looks like it's just a notebook. It's like a kid's diary, essentially. And it's a story of this kid who lives in an apartment building with her brother and her mom, and she really likes old horror movies. She always like draws herself as sort of a werewolf character. And there's a murder in the apartment building, and so she decides that she is going to solve the mystery. And so it goes through the process of that. But while it does it, it's so deep. It goes so deep. It's like art history, and there's great things that you learn, and you discover who she is and who her family is, and you discover who the woman who was murdered is and her experiences in the Holocaust. And it's like, this is a vast world that's been created in the pages, and it is just absolutely wonderful. I am just awestruck by how awesome it is. There is a sequel that will be coming out next year, and I cannot wait for more. So if you're looking for a gift for somebody for Christmas, that you couldn't do better than this. It is not a kid's book, but it is an awesome book for anyone who's interested in art or anybody who's interested in graphics in general. This has everything and more, so check it out. All right, well, on with the show. My first guest today is Dr. Dina. So she's going to talk about the nerdiness of science in pop culture, and hopefully we'll get her on a few times over the next season to talk about all these wonderful nerdy scientific discoveries. Check it out. Well, I am here with superstar Dina Burdette, Dr. Dina. She's working on her PhD right now in engineering, so brainy, and a comic book fan to boot. She's got a blog about Canadian comics. We will hopefully get to talk about that. But first of all, ding, 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 ding. It's like I feel really Flintstonesy. I want to like play like some xylophone or whatever, these bones. They're pretty rad. Okay, so we chat. We talk about comics.
Yeah.
We talk about pop culture and stuff.
Yeah.
And how it's like super cool that there are actually inventions, people like you who are super brainy, who can come up with stuff, and that you get inspired by our superheroes.
Yeah. So like I'm a doer. I don't come up with the ideas, but I will take an idea that somebody in a comic or a sci-fi movie has thought of in their script. Like, you know what? We could do that. So this is one project that we have going on here in our group in mechanical engineering at the University of Saskatchewan. And it was inspired by the scene from The Dark Knight Returns where Batman goes into the radiologist's office and the radiologist is like, dude, you can't keep doing these to your bones. You can't, you have to slow down. And Christian Bale's like, no way, I'm not slowing down. So he straps on an exoskeleton brace and then kicks the wall. Well, we use a modified exoskeleton when it comes to osteoarthritis, pain management, and disease management, because there's no cure for osteoarthritis. The best we can do is provide a good enough quality of life for our patients. So we use a technique, or not we, surgeons, orthopedic surgeons use this technique called joint distraction. And it's where, okay, so this is a femur, thigh bone, and this is your tibia, your shin bone. And the way your knee joint should be, they should connect like this. Almost, in osteoarthritis, they're almost surface on surface contact. There is really a little bit of cartilage and meniscus in there. But so there's this idea of joint distraction where we actually pull the joint apart by a few millimeters, 2 or 3 millimeters, which is enough to take load off the tibia so that we can promote bone growth and prevent bone destruction in osteoarthritis. So right now, the way we do this joint distraction is we'll actually take surgical pins and pin them through the muscle tissue and into the bone. So this patient is walking around with essentially a lot like a halo for cranial or neck injuries, but around their knees.
On your leg.
And they're expected to live for about 6 to 8 weeks with this halo around their legs and still have a reasonable quality of life. So from that scene in Dark Knight Returns, myself and a few master students, we came up with, well, what if we can eliminate the pins? What if we can create a joint brace that distracts that joint just a little bit without the surgical intervention,
right,
which will hopefully help not prevent the disease, but maybe delay it from occurring by promoting bone growth, maybe easing off the cartilage, easing some of that load, something like that.
Yeah, well, and you're not drilling into the bone, right?
Exactly. This patient isn't walking around with an open wound.
That's
for
so
8
awesome.
weeks.
That's so, like, it's so video game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, how crazy and cool is that?
It's kind of it's a neat technique. This it's called joint distraction, and the pins are actually transverse pins. And what happens is that load goes, instead of going through the bones like it's supposed to, it's transferred outside the load. And one of our biggest challenges when we're designing this is how do we stop this brace from flopping around?
Right.
Because it's actually pinned and drilled into the bone. It's not moving anywhere. So that's one big hurdle that we're trying to jump over with our design. Completely inspired by Batman kicking a concrete wall after he's been told to slow down.
That's stupendous.
Yeah,
That's so great.
it's pretty
There's
cool.
other examples of this in pop culture. Like there's actually a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
Can you think of any other things?
MRIs are a huge thing. So they were inspired by the salt shaker prop tricorder from Gene Roddenberry's original Star Trek. Yes. And right now, like the #1 diagnostic tool that clinicians look for right now is an MRI because it uses magnetic fields. It's safe for the patient. And you can see a lot of different tissues with it, all inspired by somebody just running a salt shaker over, non-invasive. You go in, you have your 40-minute noisy nap, and you come out, and your body is just as healthy or as unhealthy as it was when you went in. You're not dosed with ionizing radiation like you are with X-rays or a CT scan or something like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so many ideas.
Okay, so as long as they keep making movies and comics and video games, engineers like you will be able to like make the human body stronger, better, faster.
100%. Yeah, not just the human body, the way we live. Telecom came from sci-fi. So just so many things. And the thing I love about that is that as engineers, we don't need to think of the ideas.
No.
We just need creative minds that are able to take that idea, put it in a story, and show how that idea should be framed. And then we can take it and run and design something really cool that will help us move on.
Okay, so like we just talked for like 5 minutes and it went by in a blink. So I want to have you back again so we can talk about more sciencey, nerdy, cool things and how pop culture is actually making our lives
100%.
firmly better.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
fun.
for coming on the show.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out Dina's blog, she does write about comics, especially Canadian comics, which we love because we want to like support those local folks. We'll throw up the, what is it called?
Splashes and Speech Bubbles.
Splashes and Speech Bubbles at WordPress.
WordPress.com.
Thank you. Okay, so check that out if you want to see some great reviews of some cool content. And yeah, we'll have you back in the future to talk about more cool stuff.
I'm excited. As long as there is pop culture, there are always ideas.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we will come back after these important messages.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com. In person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
lovely ladies and or dudes. My name is Hank, and here with me right now is the goose to my maverick, the space to my jam, my BFF of the whole wide world. It's Tony. Hey, Tony. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. The weather's a little bit above me right now, but you know what I like to do when I'm sick?
Nope, I have no idea.
I like to lay on the couch and play video games. That's why today on the Tweet Beat, we're going to be talking about some games that you should be playing. In fact, all of these games probably worthwhile if you're not sick already, taking a few sick days, calling in sick to complete these bad boys. So right now, I have a prepared statement that Tony is going to read.
South Park: The Fractured But Whole is a solid RPG for the common folk and a must game of the year for fans of the show. 90 of 100. Okay, why don't you just call it 9 out of 10?
Nope, it's got to be out of 100.
9 out of 10.
Craig would do something like out of 10. Okay, I gotta do
Pound,
like 100.
buy it, play it, love it.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Super
fractured butthole. It's funny, because you say butthole.
Butthole.
Yeah.
Okay. Super Mario Odyssey is a true leap forward for a new perfect franchise and what everyone needs to put on their holiday wish list. If you don't own a Nintendo Switch, you should buy one right now. 9.2 out of 10.
Do you own a Nintendo Switch?
God, no. Why would I own a Nintendo Switch? I have a PS3 that I use for Netflix.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you watching on Netflix?
Right now, we actually watched Big Mouth the other night. It was awesome. That was a great show.
Hormone Monster.
It was good. That was my favorite show for a long time. But I'm waiting for the Stranger Things things.
But as this show's airing, Stranger Things has been out for a few weeks. We just haven't watched it yet.
Yes, it was really good. First 2 episodes we've seen were really
Yeah,
good.
amazing.
All right, let me get back to this. Assassin's Creed Origins is Hank's favorite in a series of so far.
In the series so far.
In the series so far. Why?
Should I read the prepared statement?
Why?
Because I can play it like I play Call of Duty, just running down the middle of the map, just running and gunning, shooting things, and nobody, I bring the team down. Okay.
Okay, so 8.6 out of 10.
Oh, and there's lions and stuff, and cheetahs.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I don't really know what Assassin's Creed is.
That's fine.
Is it like, we have comics that are Assassin's
You know what
Creed.
it looks like? Kind of. He wears the same outfit.
Does he really?
I know.
Oh, and does he have guns or like knives?
Kind of some swords and knives
Yeah,
and
cool.
stuff.
I'd like to see that. We should.
A lot of jumping off buildings.
I'll come over and we can play that game.
Cool.
Yeah, okay.
I could have said they.
Crosswords with friends. This doesn't seem that exciting.
Oh, you don't even know.
Crosswords with friends. Last time I had people over, we did not play crosswords.
No, it's on your iPhone.
Oh, so you just play by yourself.
Yeah.
Crosswords with friends by yourself. Okay, on your mobile device is the best way to show your younger sister who has more initials after her name than you that you are smarter than her. Obviously, probably
Yeah.
smarter than me too.
Meaningless and incredibly addicting crossword puzzles. Yeah.
8.3 out of 10.
8.3 out of 10.
8.3 out of 10.
Oh my goodness.
Why do you do that whole like number thing where it's like 83 out of 100? What is that all about?
What we do, we start at 100 and we start taking points off for dumb things.
Oh, okay. You start at 100.
Start in my head at 100, and by the time the movie's over, the game's over, the book's over, all of a sudden you're at like, oh my god, it's 2 out of 100. That's a lot of points.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because before I just thought you were just being.
A really nice guy.
You can keep that out. But yeah, now I know that you
There's a
actually
method.
have a method.
There's a method. I'm super sick. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but although I am sick, I am still rocking out everything you need to watch, you need to listen to, you need to play, you need to read at Hank at Kelso and at Shaw Punch TV. My name's Hank. This is Tony. See you next time. Tweet Pete. I can't spell anything anyway.
All right, welcome to The Collector. So today I'm talking to Andrew Boa. Andrew is a voice actor. I don't know anything about voice acting. I don't know what this even consists of. So tell me, what is a voice actor?
Well, as voice acting is basically you're just acting with your voice. So it's a lot of speaking for roles in like TV shows, movies, video games, anime, just anything like that where you won't actually see the person who is playing the character, but you'll be hearing them.
Okay, so a lot of this would be animation and stuff. So you actually do this out of Saskatoon, or do you actually go to other places where you do it?
I do this out of Saskatoon currently. A lot of the works that I have done have just been online. I have a YouTube channel that I started I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago. Cool. And I just started putting some content up on it over the last few years. And after that, I just started meeting a lot more people, getting into just different projects with different channels or productions. So you kind of meet a big network of people.
Okay, so are you at your house? Do you have like a little studio where you actually just do this, or do you actually get together with the other voice actors? Because you're not doing this by yourself. Obviously, if you're doing something, there's going to be other actors as well. Do you know them, or are you just?
Yes, I do know them. It's a lot of people I've gotten pretty close with online, or just most people that I'll meet through online means. But I record from home, so I do have a little studio set up in my house, which it's not like a full professional thing, but it is like, I just have like an XLR microphone that I set up in my room, and then I just like toss a ton of blankets and stuff behind me to cut out echo, that sort of thing.
So are they sending you scripts in advance? Is this something that they've written a script and the animation is done, or is it you do pre-voices and then they animate around your voice?
Typically, the process starts with you go for auditions, so it'll be postings on various websites or sometimes on Facebook. In some groups where there's postings pretty often. So you send in auditions, try to do your best to sound like what they're looking for in that particular character. If they like it, they'll say, hey, we want to hire you, and here's some scripts, and hopefully sometimes here's some money as well.
Yeah, so I was going to say, that's kind of thing. So is this something that you want to pursue? Well, obviously you're doing a lot of it now, you were saying earlier, and you kind of showed me, I was kind of creeping on you on Facebook to see what you were doing. But yeah, you got a lot of things going on. So are you doing more and more stuff now?
Yes, I started pursuing it a little more heavily, I'd say at the beginning of 2016. Yeah. Like before that, it was just kind of a hobby, something I did for fun. And like I said, just getting out of school with a degree, I wasn't able to find work in my field. So after, a couple of years of just, feeling like I'm not getting anywhere, old coworker of mine just suggested, why don't you just pursue this? Like take some more courses and just go full board on the voice acting thing. Like you have the talent for it. And I just said, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And
okay, so that's the thing I want to know is how do you know you have the talent for it? Is this something that you've been doing all your life with voices? Or is this something that you were like, one day I was, throwing out like my Mickey Mouse voice? Or how did that kind of go about?
Well, I've only really been doing it, I'd say about 4 or 5 years, but I feel like I've always had like it in me because like almost like a childhood trait I had for the longest time is when I'd watch shows, I'd always like try to quote the lines or something like that. I guess one show I did that with in particular was The Simpsons. Yeah. So when I was watching The Simpsons a bunch as a kid, I would just ring off like various quotes and stuff like that, just because they were just really funny and fun to repeat. So. But
I looked online and I kind of saw a lot of the stuff you're doing. I see you do some Sonic stuff. Yeah. And I saw you do some, a lot of video game type things. Yeah. So what's big in your future? You got something lined up?
In what I've done with currently on my channel, like you said, what I started with, I was in the Sonic community. So a lot of the just dubs of like the comic books from like Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Universe. On my own channel, I've done a lot of dubbings of, say, the Mega Man Archie series, which I really love. Still sad that series ended. And I was able to just meet more people through that. I've done like a bit of like just Marvel comic projects too. So like I told you earlier on, I was part of an abridged series episode of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes where the guy got me to be Nick Fury. Nice. Like, a black Nick Fury.
So how did that go for you? Like, I guess so then you're taking a wide range of voices that you're doing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get some of your information. We'll get your website. Maybe we'll put it on the bottom where we're talking so people can actually see where they can get a hold of you. Okay. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
You're watching Punch TV. We'll be right back.
My friend, reality itself is in danger, but you've just proven that you can save it.
But...
No buts. You're saving the universe whether you like it or not. Now let's go see the council.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com. In person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Welcome back. I am here with
John Allison, the festival director of the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, which runs November 15th to 18th at the Broadway Theatre in Saskatoon, and it's the 8th year of the festival, which is crazy. If you want to find out more, I'll throw this out again, but the website is skfilmfest.com. So often when we do this interview like every year, really.
Yep.
So, but we focus on the movies and stuff you're showing. But because the nature of the show is about nerddom and stuff like that, I thought it might be more fun that people can go to the website to see all the cool stuff you're showing this year. And I wanted to get to know John a little bit. So, first question, really, how did you get into movies and specifically like the fantastic genre stuff? Like, what was that? What were those proto movies that kind of started it as a kid or a teenager?
Sure. So I remember going to the drive-in and watching Star Wars. I remember going to the Muppet movie on 8th Street at, what is it, Odeon at the time.
Yep.
Then after that, I don't remember many of the movies after that. So those two really meant something.
Right.
But then late high school, started going to Place Real. So there I was seeing all this really cool stuff, a lot of Asian movies, a lot of horror, even like old classics like Creature from Black Lagoon and stuff. So it was really that, just this going out and seeing different things and having fun with those movies. I still do, and I still back then went to all the big blockbusters, every single movie that's out there that I can afford and have time to. But there was just something about going out to this kind of different place and seeing something that everyone else wasn't seeing. And the crowd there was always fun.
Right. I feel like there used to be a more interested and literate film society in Saskatoon when Place Real was open, and maybe it's because it kind of closed when I was like sort of finishing university. But I feel like what the festival does, like, I mean, it's once a year, obviously, instead of all year, but it kind of fills that hole in a weird way, or at least promotes that same film literacy.
Yeah, really, that like my goal has always been to right off from the very beginning is to bring in interesting, cool movies that people wouldn't get a chance to see, and in Saskatoon, I really felt that it was best to focus on genre for the time being. I'd love to eventually go full international, like bring in everything, but genre is often an easy sell. And there's a lot of people who like horror, a lot of people who like action movies, a lot of people who like sci-fi movies. So it's just easy to do that, and there's also a lot of cool ones. But we take that, and what my goal has always been is to know there's so much stuff out there that's just, hey, this is, you know what, I've seen the same movie 50 times.
Yeah.
This is all, hopefully our goal is to find stuff that you would not have seen, would not have known, that is going to be interesting. You're going to remember coming out. A lot of the horror movies and stuff that I see in the multiplex, after I walk out, yeah, it was fun, but I forgot them. These things, hopefully, a lot of stuff we show they'll stick with you.
Yeah, they do,
and everything. Yeah.
So I know that like this like starting your own film festival is a fabulous wealth of riches pouring onto you in terms of financial gain. But honestly, though, like you have a day job and you put so much into this festival all year. I know you travel to different festivals and stuff, and you have volunteers and stuff that help you screen the selections. Can you give me a sense of just like how much effort goes into putting this on every year?
I get about a month off, I think, throughout the year. It's a lot of just we do open calls for submissions. We try so a lot of just getting word out, posting things and stuff, getting people to submit their films. A lot of tracking down films, going to distributors, going to filmmakers, saying, "Hey, come out." My programmers, I encourage them to go to film festivals if they can afford it and everything. I get to go to Fantasia usually, which is the big festival in Montreal. I've gone to Calgary Underground Film Festival. I used to go to Toronto After Dark. I've been to TIFF. I want to pull from everywhere.
Right.
I don't want to pull just from like straight up small genre festivals or even the big ones. I want to pull from everywhere around the world and get the coolest stuff. So yeah, we're watching movies through the entire year almost. It really picks up once we hit July and Fantasia because that's where they show a couple hundred movies.
Right.
So I go in and I have a lot of friends who go to film festivals, and when I get there, they're all like, "What are you doing? You're watching all this movie. Come up to the bar and like hang out with us and stuff." And I'm like, "Well, this is my job. Like, it's not my job, but it is my job." So I focus and I hammer through. Like, I was there for a week and a half, and I went through 40 movies while there,
right?
Type thing, and then it still keeps going on after. So yeah, it's constant.
So if, really quickly here, but if there's one, there's a giant gamut of movies from the totally insane that I've seen at the festival to something that would be a little more accessible to just the average person coming. And probably a lot, like it is a genre festival, so a lot of stuff for Punch, people that would enjoy a show like Punch that like genre stuff. But what's the most accessible movie that if someone just throwing it out there to come and see this year?
So about 4 years ago, I think, there was a movie called Skyline.
Yeah.
I have not seen it, and I'm going to have to watch it because we're bringing the director out for the sequel.
Right.
So I'd feel bad if I haven't seen his, or he didn't direct the first movie, he helped produce the first movie, but it's called Beyond Skyline.
Yes.
So I want to make sure I've seen the first one, but that movie didn't get good reviews. This one, what they've done is it's a side story to the first one, and it's Frank Grillo as a cop and his son basically getting kidnapped by aliens, getting drawn into things, all the way being up on the spaceship, being taken all the way to Malaysia, where they escape, meeting up with the guys from the raid, and end up fighting aliens, fist fight and everything else, sword fight in a Malaysian temple. And it's just, there's kaiju, big giant aliens, there's martial arts, there's action, and it's just over the top fun.
Cool. So I would say, again, choose if whether Skyline or Beyond Skyline sounds good to you or not. Just go to the website, skfilmfest.com. Just choose something there and go to it. I guarantee you will see something unique. And again, Festival Director John Allison, thanks for being here, John.
Thanks a bunch.
November 15th to 18th at the Broadway Theatre, the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival. And here's Jody.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Punch TV. Thanks to all our guests who came in today. Really good conversations. Thanks to Andrew and to John and to Dina. And of course, thanks to you for watching. Our next episode is our highly anticipated every single year holiday extravaganza. So make sure that you tune in for that. And in the meantime, keep your dukes up.
All right, I'm ready. There's two things I know.
Two things I know, the Fonz and Star Wars.
No.
One Kenobi over there.
I like that. I like that
Yeah,
too.
you should coin that.
Hobo.
Yeah.
Hobo one Kenobi.
Still rolling.
All right, okay,
Sorry.
good. That's good comedy right there.
That is good comedy.